Okay, hi, it's Tiffany from Crafting Change here with Hillary from Everyday Action. Hi, Hills.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited and proud of you for your announcement today.
It's
Uh,
so exciting. It's so exciting. And I have to tell you, Crafting Change was inspired from you and your words about telling people to go and take action in their communities. And so thank you for inspiring that.
well, thank you because that's like what everyday action is. So crafting change is everyday action and everyday action is crafting change.
Well, it's that love in motion and taking it into our community. So thank you for joining our sewathon in our Zoom room. I've got you in our big room today. So our sewists are busy at work as we're talking. So thanks for joining us. So all of our sewers are here. Hey, sewists, how are you doing?
Hi. I hope you guys are having a good day. I definitely spent 12 hours a day for like 6 months sewing face masks right along with you. So I totally understand how you're feeling today. Maybe everyone should get up for a minute. If you're crafting, if you've been sitting at your sewing machine, this is something that I really encouraged myself to do while I was pinning because I would sew for 12 hours and I would move my hips from back and forth while I was pinning. And I get it going in circles in front of your sewing machine. It really helps your hips.
Oh yeah, here we go. We're moving now. We're moving now. Yep, we're doing it. We're all standing up. Come on, everybody. I see you. You may not be able to see. I can see you all. I see Robin. Get up. Come on, Robin. Kathy Lawrence, stand up right now. Come on. Everybody doing it. Way to go, Carol. I see you, Natalie. I can see you doing it. I see you, Mom. Way to go, Mom. Let's go. Come on, Viv. Get up. Get up, Viv. Way to go, Tammy. Let's go. All right, everybody.
Your hips, stretch your fingers out because I know that while you're sewing, the back of that arm muscle is really hurting. So
yep, here we go. We're all doing it. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys. You're all doing it.
Stretch. You
Ooh,
know,
my Apple Watch just got really happy that I finally moved.
All right, I like it. You can have.
All right, move. Thank you. We needed. You used to do little yoga sessions during some of your sew alongs.
I did because I sewed so much that I started to physically not be able to move. And it was so painful to sit at my sewing machine for 12 hours. That was the hardest part. I could sew. I was just in so much pain. So yeah. We had sewers yoga and it was really helpful. So
it was awesome. I remember coming to that. That was like when we first met in April at one of your 12-hour sew alongs on April 25th was when I first met Hillary. And then she started doing these like twice a week little sewing socials. That's how I kind of got that idea. And she would do like 10-15 minutes of yoga so meant for sewists, and the yoga instructor would come on Zoom and we would do these little yoga things before we would sit down at our sewing machine for 3 hours. And that's how I met Hillary, was in a Zoom room, and then we became friends, and then I watched you found Everyday Action. So let's talk about Everyday Action.
But before we talk about everyday action, I want to talk about Tiffany for a hot second, because the way we really met is she sent me a letter because I posted on Facebook that I was giving away sewing supplies to those making masks. I had a sponsor who sponsored over $1,000 of supplies, and sewers could write in for what they needed. So Tiffany wrote me this story about her family, and I still remember it because I was like, who is this person? Like, their family sounds like they're superheroes. Like, my husband works in the ER just like saving everybody, and I sew masks all day, and my daughter saves lives at Planned Parenthood, and my son is like this. It was like, who are these people? I need to send them everything, and like they should run America. I met Tiffany, and then Tiffany made and has been sewing nonstop for the past year with all of you I know and people all over the United States, making over 1 million face masks, donating over 1,000 to Everyday Action. I don't know how many she's personally sewn, but the amount of people that she has saved is definitely over 1 million people. And Crafting Change is totally going to forward that energy. So I'm so proud of you, Tiffany, for starting Crafting Change, and we're so excited to partner with you. And I just wanted to say thank you, and that you do have a moment. And I wanted to just talk about like how much you've helped Everyday Action just in starting out.
So I'm proud, and we should, full disclosure, I have joined the board of Everyday Action recently because I can't get enough of Everyday Action because I'm so proud of you. And it's hard to believe that we've only been friends for like not even a year. I wrote that letter to you because I read an article about you in the Wall Street Journal. This is just a total love fest right now. I read an article about you in the Wall Street Journal and your mask making. And then you put up that post about having those sewing supplies. And so I was like, I had to tell her everything about my family because I really need these sewing supplies because as everyone knows, stuff is expensive. And if someone's giving stuff away, it's like, I have to tell you how amazing I am because then maybe you'll give them to me. And so I gushed about, being married to a frontline worker who at that point of the pandemic, it was pretty bad. And then one of my children, Mackenzie, is also a frontline worker in healthcare. And at that point, they had been told they had to give away all their PPE because they weren't essential enough. And so they had to give away all of their PPE at their clinic, even though they were still front facing seeing patients because they weren't important enough. And so they only had cloth masks. And so that's who I started sewing for, was their staff. And I was so inspired by you and what you were doing and giving away your bags of masks to the grocery store. That was the article I read about you. And your mask making inspired Everyday Action. And I'm taking a lot of my inspiration from what I'm doing about taking what is perceived waste and doing something with it. And so tell us what you're doing out there in North Hollywood.
Sure. So Everyday Action did come from mask making. I made about 5,000 masks, hosted all these sewathons, and really just started thinking about what this was going to lead to next, and what I could do to make an active change, because I wanted to do more than I was doing. And that's kind of where the idea of Everyday Action came from. It was like, if every person every day woke up and did something for someone else, what could that change be in our world? If everyone stopped focusing on hate and negativity and all the things we didn't like about each other, and instead just woke up and did something positive every day, I really do feel like the domino effect of that on a larger scale would be the change we wanted to see. So that's what Everyday Action is about. And Sam and I, who's my business partner, kind of started to think about what our everyday action could be. What on a big scale could we do every day to help someone else? Both of us have been assistant directors in television and film for the past 10 years. I don't know if any of you have ever been on a film set, but the food that they serve for breakfast and lunch is like a wedding banquet. There's filet mignon, couscous, salmon, lobster, mahi-mahi, ahi, 7 different kinds of salads, desserts, and it's fine. There's a lot of people they have to feed, and they have to oversupply that because they're unsure of the amount that are going to eat every day. But every day, there is a ton of food waste on film sets, and it's thrown out. And it's because people are afraid of what's going to happen if someone gets sick from that food. They're afraid of getting sued from someone getting food poisoning. So instead, they just throw it out. And my whole career, I have asked, why do we throw this food out? And that's all I've ever been told is, oh, well, we might get sued. It's just easier, just throw it out. And in film, my job is really stressful. So there was never a time for me to really stop and say, like, I don't know, like, we just can't do this anymore. But because of COVID, and there was that stop, me and Sam were able to figure out how to stop throwing the food out. So we spent 2 months filing a lot of paperwork. Neither of us are lawyers, but we certainly felt like ones for a little bit. We got liability insurance, filed our paperwork to become a full 501c3. And now that's what we do. So we pick up the food full time currently from 6 television shows. We save about 1,000 meals a week from the trash can. They go right from a gourmet catering tray as soon as it's finished, either to a community fridge or to someone living on the streets within a half hour to 45 minutes of leaving the catering tray. And we give it to really anyone needing a meal. Our goal is to get a food truck in the next year, to raise $1 million and to service every food set in Los Angeles. We're really trying to call Hollywood out a little bit. It's kind of embarrassing. It is embarrassing, right? We all have things in our past that's embarrassing. I've been a part of it. I'm embarrassed. But But the only way we can stop being embarrassed is to just say, okay, we've been doing this, but we can stop doing it and we can fix it. So we're really trying to challenge Hollywood to look at yourself. And I really, in general, that's kind of the conversation Everyday Action is currently starting is what is that in someone uncomfortable to help someone else? You know, why is it, how could you look someone else who is starving in the face with a hot meal and say, you know, I can't give this to you because you might do something to me. Like to me, that's just selfishness at its core. And I think as people, we need to address that. And again, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to say, you know, I have been selfish. I am selfish every day of my life. And there are things that I look at that I'm like, you know, waste, food waste in my own house. I waste way too much food. And that's something personally that on my own everyday waste I'm really trying to work on. But Everyday Action, that's what we're doing. So we're servicing film sets. We do 1,000 meals a week again, and we're just trying to expand. And we really need help from crafters. I myself was sewing all of our face masks while working a 20-hour job and running Everyday Action. And I started to go a little bit insane. So
A little bit.
a little bit. So Tiffany saved my life and came in, and all of you have helped and sent us so many face masks so I don't have to sew on top of all of this every day. And it's so helpful because the face masks is actually what the those unhoused look forward to the most sometimes, because there's a choice. You know, every person sews different style face masks with different patterns and different colors. That for me is so much fun as a sewer, being like, oh wow, I did this one's so cool. I'm like, oh, the packaging on this is so neat. You know, it's like the way that everyone does their masks, I think is so cool. And I think like everyone makes me cry. And I'm like, look at Sam, these ones are like so pretty. But to bring them to someone and say, which one would you like? And there's all this different selection of style and color that they can choose that makes them have identity has been really great. And they're like, oh no, I want the blue one. I like called Tiffany one day and I was like, we need more manly fabrics because all the men like get so angry that I only have purple and I just had purple. And like, I just felt so horrible that I was like, I'm so sorry, this is all I have for you. Because when you're unhoused, you know, that's something that I think is also not thought about is like, oh, you need to have this because you need it. In food service, that's also been something that I've had to like reassess my own thought of. I've ran into a few people who are vegan and I didn't have a vegan meal. And I was like, why am I trying to force this person to eat something that they just don't eat? You know, and it's like they're still a human being. It doesn't mean that they need everything that you want to give them, but we still want to offer it. Right. So your crafting really allows for that sense of individuality. And I really appreciate that and just want to let you know how I wish you could see their faces light up when they like get to choose and they think it's like like the sewing. They look at it and they're like, someone made this, man, like this isn't from a store, like this is so cool. You know, it's like they appreciate the work that you're doing just as much as I do. Yeah. And what we really need going forward, in addition to masks, which I know Tiffany's going to start working on, is those bags, which are so cool. My fiance, we have chickens, and he was just making me breakfast, and he's like, wait, we can use the chicken feed bag? And I was like, yeah, we're going to send it to Tiffany.
I'm going to send you the pattern. No, you can send me the bag. So we'll find some people in the local area, LA area that are doing it. So I actually found now see that stupid green screen thingy. I'm going to turn my screen off. So tell you give out a mask with every single meal, right?
We give a mask with every meal. And then we are trying to give homeless kits as well, which have like sanitary items, socks, which socks are really important. For those unhoused, they go to them very quickly and often don't have shoes. And we haven't really been able to find a sock company that donates them yet. So we've had like elementary schools that do drives for us and they'll get socks, but socks are so much needed. And then the bags for the kits that are reusable, that's like something that they can have. You know, it's a possession that they can use. Show me your bag. I want to see.
Okay, so I haven't made the bag yet, but it is basically the dog food bag when you cut it. And I washed this through the wash machine.
Wow.
The wash machine. It's basically a giant piece of fabric. So I'll be able to make this into a bag. And I'm sorry, I ran out of time. I was going to actually have a sample bag, but I'll be able to just make this into a bag now. And I'll have one within a couple of days to show you. And then I'll be able to square it up where the dog will be the front of the bag. It's going to actually be a super cute bag.
That is so cool. See, like, it'll be something else, because currently the only bags we have are these reflector bags that are just like, you know, it's just a bag. But this is another thing that's like a personality.
Yeah. And I have 3 100-pound dogs that each eat a different type of food. So I go through so many bags of dog food a month. And we throw these away because, I mean, they're garbage, but they're not garbage. And so I got to thank Kathy Wargo for giving me this idea. And then I found a great pattern, and I think it's going to take less than an hour to craft this into a beautiful bag. I could do 2, if I lay 2 on top of each other, I could do 2 in the same amount of time. So, and they'll be sturdy as all heck. Because you use upholstery thread on it, and I can do it through my regular machine. So it's not going to take a fancy machine, and it's going to make amazing strong bags. So that are great, and they'll be weatherproof. That's the amazing thing. You don't get a lot of rain in Southern California, but you do get rain, and you don't know the conditions that people are living in. And so it'll be weatherproof. And then the other bag option we have are these super cute barrel style duffel drawstring duffel bags that will be able to be closed, that we're going to recommend being made out of like a duck cloth, something also like a canvas duck cloth that'll be really resistant, that have a nice strap that people can sling over their shoulder. So 2 different options for really great bags and those bags can be also put together with scraps if you've got duck cloth straps around from other projects that you've done. So but the bags I think are going to be super, because you guys get so many donated supplies from schools around you that do drives for the product, but you need something to put them in. So I'm super excited about doing something different and making that bag. And then, yeah, I'm going to get all of Joy's bags. We have the National Mill Dog Rescue, which saves dogs from puppy mills. And they are like 5 miles from my house. So I'm going to go talk to them about taking their trash and turning it into something useful for everyday action. So I just learned so many lessons from you. So, and then the socks, we're going to have knitted socks. Hopefully some knitters and crocheters out there like to knit socks, get some really nice warm socks. And again, we're looking for socks, not booties or slippers. They need to be able to be worn with shoes. We will have a project later on for a nursing home that are slippers, but we need to actually have socks that can be worn with shoes for everyday action. And then I'm sure as we get to winter in California, we'll be working on a hat project for you for the people that you work with. So, and we are, again, of course, working on face masks, because your request hit 0, but your need is not 0. So we are ramping that right back up for everyday action to continue to send you face masks. And give you nice, very protective ones in a variety of fabrics, including ones for men. So they have a variety, but I know we talked about that, always having a nice selection of fabrics available. But what percentage of, can you break it down, men versus women that you're encountering in the encampments that you go to?
I mean, I'd say it's pretty 50-50.
Okay.
In LA, it's really alarming that there's families. That to me is when I find like a whole family living in a tent, that's when it's like, oh, this is really hard. Or someone who is my age that very clearly has a full-time job and biked to like a street corner and put up their tent and just can't afford their bills. It's just like, the Los Angeles is in a really big crisis. The homelessness and COVID is out of control. There's like the streets of Hollywood. It looks like Bosnia in some places. There's like burnt out trailers with just like rows and rows and rows of tents, like 3 and 4 deep. The city have now set up sanitation stations by the tents because there's nothing to do. There's nowhere for them to go. So there's just go past a freeway underpass without seeing a city of homelessness. And it's just
I haven't been out to LA since August, I guess, was the last time I was there to see my son who lives there. And for someone that doesn't live in Los Angeles, it is always shocking to see, because I live in the suburbs and I only see the homeless problem when I go into a city. And it is not near the problem that it is in Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, it is staring you in the face wherever you go. And it is shocking to see that. It does not look like America. It does not look like the America I know when I visit Los Angeles. I mean, that doesn't look like the streets of America when we're the richest country in the world. To see how are we letting our citizens live like that? And you're every day out there trying to make it better for the people that are unhoused. And it is amazing and incredible what you're doing. And whatever we can do to make it better and easier for you to do your job, we're going to certainly do. And so anytime you are just thinking, oh my gosh, that would be better, that would be amazing. Hey, I know a group that can make that. You know who to call, because there's a whole group of people here that I know every time that I have you come and speak, the Zoom room's a buzz for like an hour of people talking about how inspiring you were. There was already messages in the chat about your work. So people are always inspired by you, Hillary, and what you're doing. And I saw an interview that you did recently with Barrett Foa, one of the board members, about how this needs to be the standard in Hollywood, what you're doing, saving this food from the trash. And I hope it becomes that way. So,
I mean, thank you, Tiffany. I really do too. It's like, it's so easy. It's so simple. And it's so alarming to me when someone doesn't want to do it, because it's just like you said, it's trash. And like, why do we, like, in Hollywood, we take such pride in being green and like, ooh, we saved our paper. So if you're so proud of saving paper, why don't we also be proud of saving people? You know, it's like, it's trash. And I understand the logistical nightmare that is a production, because that is my job. And I understand when someone's saying there's one more element to do, that's stressful. But Sam and I aren't another element. We just need the call sheet and we really take care of everything else. And the food truck really would eliminate any issue there would be with food poisoning almost entirely, because it would go from a professional kitchen right to professional kitchen. And then we would have a food truck to serve the homeless. We could just drive downtown LA and open the truck out, and it would just be a free truck of food with reusable silverware with like dishes in the front. And it would just be a way we could really serve, thousands of people a day.
amazing.
For free.
Yeah.
And I can't appreciate, or I can't say thank you enough for the masks and our bags and our socks. We just signed up to do a collaboration with Skid Row, which is the most intense homeless population in Los Angeles. Sam and I did an event there for Thanksgiving, and I still can't really talk about it without getting really emotional. But we made over 450 meals and passed them out, and they were gone in 15 minutes. And there is so many people down there. We passed out 1,000 masks and they were gone in an hour. And that's just like a corner of Skid Row. So we will never, ever have enough. So thank you for sewing for us. Thank you for pairing with us. We are so appreciative of everything that you do. I sew and craft myself, so I know what goes into that, the blood, sweat, and tears. I would say the best thing I learned in sewing, which was over the pandemic, I learned so much about sewing, was lose the pins, go to clips.
Yes, I learned that too after I got the clips from you. You told me that my very first sew-a-thon, I was like, what are these things she's using? How, because I do pleated masks too. You do too. What does she have on her pleats? What are those things? What is this? What is this voodoo magic? And then I was like, yes, pins are terrible. And I've had a bad instance with pins, and one of my dogs eating one years ago from when I sewed costumes. And I don't have pins anywhere in my sewing area anymore. I have Doris Scanlon in here has the record. I think she has 3.3 million pins in her possession. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but honestly, she probably has close to that. I love my clips, not pins. I mean, the 3.3 million clips. I have close to that. Every time I can see them on Amazon for about $6.99 for 100, I buy them. Clips are the greatest thing ever. So let's give some clips away today. Hillary, you want to give some clips away today?
Yeah.
Okay. Pick a city in America, and then whoever lives closest to that city.
Oh, a city. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to pick Boston because I grew up on the East Coast and I love Boston.
Okay, unmute yourself if you're in Boston. There's somebody actually in Boston. Did she leave? She might have left.
Man.
There was somebody in Boston. Who's the closest to Boston? Or maybe you all can't unmute yourself. Maybe is that the issue? Can you guys unmute yourself? Maybe you just can't unmute. You can't unmute yourself, can you? Oh, okay. All right. Maybe put yourself in the chat if you're in Boston.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there was somebody actually in Boston. So type in the chat if you're from Boston or very, very near Boston.
Before I go, I have to give a quick shout out again to Vivian and the Magical Thread Fairy, Kitty, who are very much a part of my sewing experience and are very much a part of how Everyday Action formed, because we were all alone and all came together online and sewed together for months and months and months. And while my life is so busy, I can't do that anymore. I still miss them every day and love them. So I wanted to say hello. But yes, the pins. I think I went through 4 to 5 weeks of mask making and was like, I couldn't feel my fingertips anymore, and was just like, I would like by 9 o'clock at night, you would just be like, ah! Ah! And my fiance was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, if one more pin touches me, I can't. So go to the clips, whoever won them. Yay!
I love it. Okay, can anyone beat Amy, who's in Philadelphia, as being closer to Boston? Is Philadelphia our closest person to Boston? I think that may be our closest. New Jersey. Is New Jersey closer? I don't know my geography. Is New Jersey closer to Boston than Philadelphia? You two fight it out.
I think so.
Yes, depends on where in PA, New Jersey. How about you both get clips because you're both there? Yes. Crafting Chain says you get some clips and you get some clips.
And you get clips.
And you get some clips and you get some clips. Crafting Chain says everybody gets some clips. All right. Nina and Amy Rossborough, Crafting Change is giving you both clips, so no one has to prick their fingers on pins. So, because we love everybody and I'm not fighting it out. So North Caldwell and near Philadelphia, congratulations. You're both getting clips. Yay, they say yay. So that's courtesy of Crafting Change, and Everyday Action wants to say thank you for being here and listening to us chat about the good work. I'm just writing your names down. Clips. All right, we're sending you some clips. So you'll get little tins, cute little tins too. They come in cute little tins. So
that's so cute. The tin's like one of my favorite part.
Yeah, I love the little tins. So, all right. Thank you, Hillary, for joining us. I know you have good work to go out and do. So one of your rare days where you're not literally, when I talk to Hillary, her phone gives me anxiety because it's bzz, 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 like nonstop. You're such a busy person. So thank you for, I mean, when she says she works 20 hours a day, she works 20 hours a day. That is not a joke or an exaggeration. I admire you and what you do, and that even though you have such a busy full-time job there in Hollywood, that you also have done this amazing nonprofit. So thank you, and thank you for letting me be a part of it, and then for letting all of our crafters be a part of it. And we are going to continue to make you masks, and we're going to make you bags, and we're going to make you socks, and whatever else you tell us that you need help with, we're going to be here for you. So
thank you, Tiffany. I'm so proud of you and Crafting Change and all you crafters out there. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye. Let me stop the live.